Local Women Magazine presents Local Women Podcast, the show for things that matter. Keeping an Eye on It podcast from Local Women Magazine is brought to you by Cathedral Eye Clinic, Northern Ireland's leading eye specialist.
Hello and welcome to the Local Woman Podcast. It's Keeping an Eye on It, sponsored by the Cathedral Eye Clinic. I'm here with three very special guests. This is the podcast where the girls get their say. In fact, we just sit round and moan, really, don't we, girls?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I mean, I could say we're going to talk about, very clever and intelligent matters, however, we're not. We're going to talk about stuff that's getting on our nerves this week. And we're all a bit touchy today. We're all a little bit, so I've assembled a wonderful panel of ladies. So with me today, it's the ever gorgeous, it's Jane Hardy, writer extraordinaire, reviewer, interviewer of Margaret Thatcher.
Yes.
She's very quiet today. Why are you so quiet? What's wrong with you?
No, I'm fine.
What's wrong?
thinking
You're not
about
normally
Margaret
that
Thatcher,
quiet.
I
You're
think.
not normally that quiet.
No, I'm not.
What was Margaret Thatcher like? You love her,
Oh, she
don't
was
you?
terrifying.
Was she
but
terrifying?
fascinating and very good looking for age. Good ankles. High
Handsome. Was she a
heels.
handsome woman?
She was a handsome woman. Yes, she was.
Yeah.
And she only came up to about here.
Tiny wee thing.
Another small
Tiny wee
lady.
thing, yes.
Ah,
and she was only interested in talking to the top person. So my editor,
Good for
because I was
her.
a very junior reporter then. And yes, she was undoubtedly the best man in the cabinet. You could tell that. Yes, I think so.
Margaret Thatcher, there we go, on that bombshell. Next to her, I have the wonderful Niamh McNally. Now, right, guys, Niamh is a poet. Yes, she is an actual poet. I didn't know that was an actual thing. I didn't know in this day and age you could be a poet like, Wordsworth or, Seamus Heaney or something like that. This is Niamh. She's the poet in resident for TransLink.
Yeah.
Niamh, explain this, please.
Thank you so much for having me on. I've been working with TransLink for a year now. What I've been doing is writing poetry for the new train station, so York Street Station. My poem was put 80 foot long on the roof of the underpass right beside the station. Since January, I've been taking workshops in the mezzanine, right above Marks and Spencer's, in the brand new Grand Central Station. So I've had workshops of over 200 to 300 young people there.
And do they like it?
They love it.
Because
yeah.
usually young people go, I don't like poetry.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my mission. So I think poetry a lot of the time during the curriculum and during school, people are often turned off it. You did mention one of those words, people like Wordsworth, Coleridge, and it's all of these writers from the past that are excellent in many ways, but young people, I feel like nowadays, especially young women, can't connect.
They find them inaccessible.
They do.
Or they need to find a way in.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of my mission, to try and not rejuvenate poetry in any way, but to kind of make it accessible for young people and say it's actually very fun. And you've got things like slam poetry, video poems.
That's like rap, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like
There's
stuff.
like rap.
Yeah.
There's so many ways you can work with words as well. So there's a new poem coming. It's amazing. I got the proof through last night. It's going to be on Grand Central Station. So there's going to be a huge poem of mine in the Central
I
Station.
now know a poet. Do I know another poet, Robin?
There's many in Belfast.
Do I know another poet? Who's that other lady who I know who's a poet?
Oh, well, you know Jane's husband.
Yes. Oh, I now know
Michael
three
is a
poets.
poet, yes.
What do you call that lady who writes the saucy books?
Oh, Rosemary Jenkins.
She's a poet.
Oh,
isn't she?
yes, and she's now a
Rosemary
poet,
Jenkins.
yes.
She writes all that saucy stuff.
Yeah.
She does
Rosemary
Rosemary
Jenkins.
Risque, yes.
Yeah.
She's
I
Rosemary
know three.
Risque Jenkins.
I now know three poets.
Yes,
People are
you
going to
do.
start asking me to dinner parties.
Yes.
Like, honestly.
Yeah.
Anyway, I
Yes.
digress.
Rosemary just released a book of poetry
yes.
at the start of this year.
Oh, she did, because she was on promoting
She
it.
did, yes.
It was on
And I
promoting it,
can't
but
remember
we
the
kind of
name.
got sidetracked talking about sex. Okay, next to me here, I have Eileen McClory. Twinkle Toes. She's a dancer. She's a choreographer, and she runs Off the Rails Dance Company. Tell us about that.
Off the Rails Dance is a dance theatre company, and we make shows that are in theatres or that are outdoor, site responsive. We usually explore topics. We made a show called Gutter
Yes.
that explored journalism.
I should have been in that
It's
show.
coming back. It's coming back.
I should be in that. I mean, do you take 51-year-old, not that flexible people?
Well, there's a wee moment where you are in the show in the audience and on cameras, so you do make a wee surprise appearance. So we make dance shows. We're making a new show for it's going to do a work in progress in the Belfast Festival.
Yeah.
It's called BPM, and Bangers, Parties and Melters, and it's an immersive rave show.
I think I know some of those people.
Yeah, it's an immersive rave show set in the 90s, early 2000s, Northern Ireland, where clubbing was this real expansive, immersive subculture. We also dabbled in a few
Hush your mouth.
extracurricular
Hush your
activities, some medicinal.
If children are listening.
Drug use. But I think the thing that we're exploring in the show is how communities came together on the dance floor. So there was Catholics and Protestants and people on different sides of the community, and they both come together and experience something kind of transformative. And for me, that's what dance does. It brings people together.
1990s Belfast dance scene. There were no Protestants and Catholics because nobody knew what they were.
Nobody knew what they were.
They left their inhibitions at the door.
Exactly. So
and it was lovely, peace and love and joy. So let's talk about some joyous topics today.
Keeping an Eye on It podcast from Local Women Magazine is brought to you by Cathedral Eye Clinic, Northern Ireland's leading eye specialist.
Okay, so our first topic today is binge drinking. Now, let's be honest, it's something we've probably all done many times, but I've been noticing, I suppose over the last 10 years really, this creeping idea that binge drinking is somehow a good thing. You know, you'll see it on Facebook, you know, it's wine o'clock, Prosecco time. You know, you go into people's houses and they sometimes have those little signs up, you know the signs that I'm talking about. It'll be the bar opens here, this kitchen is a bar and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. It wouldn't be maybe my idea of decor, but you know, it's fine. But Jane, when did it become okay to boast about being a drunk?
I don't know, and I don't know really that it is. Is it really boasting about being a drunk? I think it's boasting about being a good time girl or boy. Actually, it's about, you know, hey, look, we can enjoy ourselves and we're grown up enough. I mean, I blame Saturday Kitchen Live actually, because they give people drinks to go with the food at about 9 or 10, whatever it is, in the morning, and then off they go. I'm sure to have another one or two down the restaurant down the road. You know. I don't think it actually is okay. I think if somebody came to you and said it's wine o'clock at about 11, I think I might wonder, you know. I think the sun has to go over the yard arm, you know. It has to be in the evening, or it has to be at lunchtime with food. That's where
very civilised.
That's where the continentals do it better, don't they? I mean, I remember going to Paris as an exchange student and being given wine when I was about 13.
Yeah.
And this was incredible, really. But we had it with a meal and with water as well. And it seemed to be training you to regard wine and drink as something you had with something else, not by itself, not secretly, not out of the cup.
That's actually sparked a funny memory. When I was an exchange student in La Roche-sur-Yon, I would just like to apologise to my host family in La Roche-sur-Yon. I went out in the afternoon. We were there for 10 days on an exchange thing, and I went out with one of my friends from home shopping.
Right.
And we went to the bar. We were 14 years old. I drank 5 vodka and Cokes, right? I don't know why I did this. Well, I did because that's just what I did. I went back to the house drunk. I don't think they'd ever seen a drunk teenager. And they just looked at me and laughed and put me to bed. But now it just sparked that memory of me standing in this kitchen of this family in La Roche-sur-Yon, full.
Yes.
Disgraceful. Anyway, I digress. I feel better for getting that out. Niamh, what do you think about this culture of drinking for women? Is it damaging?
I think it's a bit of a difficult topic sometimes. Like, I remember going through my uni years. Again, I moved away. I lived in Poland for a year, and to say the vodka consumed was anything less than madness was crazy. I have to say, though, I do see, I don't know if the advertising is increasing with things like Guinness, like Split the G. You've got all of these, you know what, like there's something, I've had this conversation recently, there's something really sexy about alcohol. And advertising alcohol and being around alcohol, whether it's a vino in the afternoon with your dinner. But you know what I actually think, and this might be a bit of a left field thing, I actually think people are trying harder because young people aren't drinking as much these days.
That's another thing.
Young people are into, and boys and girls, whatever gender you are, fitness, protein,
wellness,
skincare, wellness. People are not, and I have like first hand experience in a sense. I was chatting to a lecturer that I know, And it was mentioned young people in university aren't doing freshers the way they used to.
No.
They're not going out as much.
Crazy.
So I don't know if it's like of an age, is it the millennial age and up
Yeah.
is still on that train, and the younger people aren't.
Yeah.
And maybe advertising's coming, they're trying to push a
Yeah.
little bit harder. But yeah, I just want to throw that out there. I don't think
yeah,
it's a
that's
thing
absolutely
anymore.
I
true.
was say, like when we were growing up, like I'm 42, so I mean,
Don't worry,
I know, I don't look
you're
it
one
right.
of the babies in here.
Yes.
You're one of the
But
babies.
like
That's
growing
right.
up, it was like the 90s. It was like ladette culture, you
Yes,
know. It was like this
yes.
thing where girls can drink and drink beer
Yeah.
and like the bravado-ness of it. And I
Morning.
drank so much
Me too.
in uni, but I had the
Same.
best time, like absolute best time. Drank too much. We worked hard, we played hard, and it was amazing. And you could get like, oh my god, like triple vodkas and Red Bull for like $2.50. Like,
Yes.
how
so
I'm
cheap.
alive.
It was
I
so
do
cheap
not
back
know.
Money's
then.
another thing.
Alcohol
People
was
can't
so
afford
expensive.
it.
So cheap.
I
Like
can't afford it anymore.
we used to go out with a tenner and come back completely wrote off. Like,
Yeah.
do you know? And I think that's changed.
Do we sound old now, do you think?
No,
Eileen.
do a wee bit. I mean,
Well,
Really?
I'm
Are we-
I'm 30
mean-
this year, and that was the culture.
That
You
was the
went to the
culture.
park and you had a drink, or
In
you
the
know,
park.
in the,
Yeah.
yes,
In a
like,
park
get
drinking.
a 3-liter
Do kids
bottle
still
of-
drink in parks?
No,
That's it.
Children,
No.
are you still drinking in parks?
No, they're not.
Let us know.
Right in if you're
They're
drinking in
on
park
their
right now.
but don't say the park just in case.
Yes,
You
like,
get
there's
people.
actually something that's actually really sad about it though. Like, I was listening to another podcast and they were saying, teenage pregnancies are down, like all these things that were happening in the 90s are down.
Yeah.
You know, like alcohol consumption and all these rates are down. And it was like, oh, isn't that amazing? And then the flip side of that is, well, not really, because kids, like young people are now just isolated on their phones in their houses. So there's the socialization isn't happening now. I'm not saying
Yes.
that should happen with like
Yeah.
a 3-liter bottle of like alcohol. Do you know what I mean? But I'm saying like there's a shift in how we socialize, and actually, although like there's really promising things like
Yeah.
alcohol consumption's down, like teenage pregnancy's down, and all the things. There's actually like a real level of isolation between young people.
Yes.
Well,
And
there certainly wasn't whenever we
No,
were younger, because
no.
we
Oh my
were
God.
bonding over a bottle
And-
of White Lightning.
Yeah.
Also,
Exactly.
Also, which is what we're looking at in BPM, is the idea that like when I was younger, like honestly, like if there was cameras when I was a teenager, I would never be employed. Like the stuff we got up to, it was carefree, it was amazing. Like we pranked each other, we had a
Yes.
great time, we did stupid stuff, and that was left to live in the past, you know. And
You have
not-
no pictures from
'cause you're
that at all.
allowed, you know,
You have no
and you should be when you're a kid to be silly. But now that's all proved. So even when people go clubbing or go out, like they're not even dancing the way.
Yeah.
There's no carefreeness.
The only
bullshit.
pictures that we had from clubs are, remember nightclubs used to have a
Had the cameras?
photographer?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then so you'd pose and you'd be like, and then you would forget all about it.
Yeah.
And then
See the
it would be
next day.
Tuesday. So
Yes,
that was a Saturday.
yeah.
On a Tuesday,
Yeah.
somebody would tag you, and there you were.
Oh my God.
In your
Yes.
glory, with your arm around two
Yeah.
guys who you didn't know.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
going like this, and you're like, what in the name of
And
God
that's-
am I doing?
Do you
Yeah.
know, it's, and I think, but I do think that a lot of the alcohol that's marketed is to millennials.
It's onto
It's like-
Gen
it's-
X.
yeah,
The
it's
Gen
the-
You're
X is
drinking
like
a pint
me.
with your mates
Yes.
in the bar. You're not
Yeah.
actually going to a club. Like I don't
Yeah.
walk downtown and see shots being advertised or
They're being advertised.
Jägermeister.
Yeah, do you know
or,
They're being
you know,
advertised to us.
Yeah.
What do you think whenever you see you know that Belfast bike thing that goes around and all the girls are
Oh, I
going,
did
"Yeah."
that.
What do you think of that?
I've done it like 10 times.
I think aren't they going to fall off, frankly?
Oh, I did that in Galway.
Was it
It
good?
was amazing. I
I
loved
think
it.
it's on my bucket list, actually. It's something
It's
I
good.
would
Oh,
I'm
like
going to bring you out on one of those bikes.
Well, there you are.
I'm going to
Yes,
bring
you
you out
should
on
do
those.
do that.
podcast on one of the bikes.
It's not unlike this setup.
Yeah, it is. You're just cycling. But then,
There you
will
are, but
we
you're
look?
pedaling away.
Will we look like a gang of old lady hellions if
Yes.
we go on that?
I know, but
Yes,
isn't
we
Do
will.
that,
do we care?
isn't
No,
that
we
the
don't care.
judgment?
No.
though?
Are we
absolutely
one
not.
step
No.
away from
No.
having a sign in our kitchen going, "We dance in this kitchen"? Or what?
Yes.
Live,
or we
laugh,
dance
love.
and drink.
Are we one step
Live,
away
laugh.
from a vinyl "Live, Laugh, Love" above our
I
sofa?
think
Yes.
cringe
Do
culture
we care?
needs to leave. I don't care
Yeah,
anymore.
I don't
Over
care.
it, go away.
I just need to make
You know,
my
I-
peace with this.
Yeah.
Get the sign up
I
in my
think the
kitchen.
thing is,
That's it.
like, alcohol is, like, listen, I have to say to people now, I'm like, the thing for me is, like, I want to go out. I know if I go out with particular friends, like, we're 10 margaritas in, I'm getting home, like, late. It's going
Yeah.
to be awful.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
You know? So I have to be, like, and half the time it's like, I can't afford the hangover because it's
I
going to
know.
make me
Yes.
feel awful for a
Yes.
week, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know what it is, but there's something so fun and free and liberating, and you deserve this drink because you've had a hard week. You know, you've worked really, really hard, and I think there is, like, if you look back in time, and it was really the men going out and getting hammered.
No, it's the women,
and then you know.
No, it's Prosecco o'clock.
Because
Gin
it's
o'clock.
commercialised.
Yeah.
And like women, it's specifically commercialised, so women buy it and think it's bougie and think it's fun. And
What
it's like
time
the
is
Stanley
gin
Cups.
o'clock? What time's gin o'clock, Jane? Give me a time. Give me a ballpark figure.
5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
Okay. What time's Prosecco o'clock?
I don't have any constraints. Guys,
She's wild and free.
I'm like, guys,
she's a poet. After all.
Why give in?
These arty types. These arty types.
She's living the bohemian.
She is just like drinking Prosecco in the train station.
Yeah. Because like if you have an o'clock, that enforces judgment if it's not that o'clock.
Love that.
Wake up like you're on your holidays if you want to on a Saturday. Like it's all
drink
good.
like no one's watching.
Yes, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
You should get a sign sent.
But don't overdo it because you will get sick.
You will.
Anxiety.
What time's 1 o'clock?
To be honest, like holiday, it's free for all for me.
Holiday 9 o'clock buffet.
9 o'clock buffet. Get your like orange juice and prosecco in you.
Yeah.
It's 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
7. I think it's 7.
We're decent ladies, and of course, I would like to say, please drink sensibly. We do not promote heavy drinking. It's not big and it's not clever.
Keeping an Eye on It podcast from Local Women magazine is brought to you by Cathedral Eye Clinic, Northern Ireland's leading eye specialist.
Looking to upgrade your bathroom? At M1 Bathrooms Belfast, we've got everything under one roof, from stylish bathroom suites to easy-to-fit PVC panels in marble, stone, tile, and even 3D metallic effects. Full bathroom renovations completed in just 1 week. Visit our 4,000 square foot showroom off Kennedy Way behind Asda and discover top quality products to suit every style and every budget. That's M1 Bathrooms, your one-stop bathroom shop in Belfast. Call 02890 300 555. Open 6 days a week. M1 Bathrooms. Customer service from start to finish.
Make your living room the heart of your home with Glen Hill. From media walls to fireplaces, stoves to electric fires, we blend traditional charm with contemporary style. Visit Glen Hill, Stockman's Way, Belfast, or glenhill.co.uk. Glen Hill, affordable quality for over 40 years.
Transform your home with style and grace. At Decora Blinds Belfast, we offer elegant, made-to-measure blinds, blending beauty with functionality. From vibrant Alumatech aluminium Venetians to stunning shutter blinds, each available in a range of colours and slot widths. Wood or PVC Venetians, you'll hardly know the difference. Add tapes for that extra touch of luxury. Discover timeless design. Discover Decora Blinds Belfast.
Keeping an Eye on It podcast from Local Women magazine is brought to you by Cathedral Eye Clinic, Northern Ireland's leading eye specialist.
Right, girls, we're moving on to a topic that I thought we'd left in 2009, maybe. It's Jordan, or Katie Price, as she's now known. If you open the papers now, you would actually think it was the early noughties. She is everywhere at the minute because obviously her children have now come of age. Princess is 18, I think Junior's 20 maybe, and Princess is launching her TV career. Now, of course, this means that it's all started again. The he said and she said, the daily battles are back in the papers. It's really peculiar. Jane, what do you think of this? Do you think this is because she brought her children up on television, that she's now back in the spotlight again?
Yes, I do, to be perfectly honest. I think it's the Kardashianisation, if you like, of the family and of celebs. I mean, there is a problem with being a celebrity, that it's okay in the good times.
Oh, yes.
But then in the bad times, you know,
Yes.
when you want to hide away and conceal what's going on, you can't do it because it's a Faustian pact, really. If you perform and if you want good publicity when you're doing a show or a book, and, you know, Katie Price has done books about all sorts of things, including
She's done many books.
She's done children's books. She's done many
Novels.
books.
She's done novels.
She has, yes, absolutely.
Which are
and then
okay.
and then you get the publicity and you get all the good vibes and the praise. And then, of course, when something goes wrong, when it's drugs, when it's relationship breakups, when it's parenting questions, then you get all the bad stuff coming up. And that maybe that is the deal. Maybe that's the way it has to be. But it does seem there's an element of misogyny here.
Well, yes, that's something I wanted to ask you, Niamh. Say what you like about Katie Price, but she definitely does things on her own terms. But right now, when she is getting absolutely slated through the press for the way she looks, for the way she raises her children, everything really, this boyfriend and that boyfriend's coming out of the woodwork going, yeah, she's this, she's that. Is it because she's a woman?
You know, I don't want to just say yes, but at the same time, celebrity, whether you're a woman, man, if you're in that spotlight, you're going to get slated no matter what you do. If you're the best person possible, someone will have something horrible to say.
True.
For myself, being in the opposite end of like trolling on Twitter, it's horrific. You try to do one thing, someone looks at it a different way.
On purpose.
On purpose. Usually people with faceless identities on these things. You know, you'll always get trolls, but she is, I honestly see for everything she's done, she's a total queen as well. Like she's written books. Yeah. She's sticking up herself. She's still going. She's doing it. And at some point you have to say, I actually know it is Taylor Swift actually was on a podcast the other day and she says, it was something along the lines of, your time and what you spend energy focusing on is expensive and not everyone can afford it because not everyone is giving you that time and not everyone is giving you, you know, why do I care what you think if you've not impacted my life in any way apart from negativity? So I say keep going. There's going to be misogyny everywhere. A lot of misogyny also comes from women.
So why is that? I've noticed that a lot. You only need to look at the
comments. Women can be very harsh on other women.
But why are they so misogynistic?
I think it's envy, don't you think?
I don't know.
In the case of celebrities,
they would say no. But I don't. It's just pure nastiness.
They would say no. Maybe it is. I think there's an element of envy, and
that's really strange.
Maybe a superiority complex. I think it's that they want to be living that life actually.
Yeah.
Or at least part of it.
Part of it, because part of her life's great. What do you think about putting your children on the telly like that? Did you tell me you had a small child?
2 wee ones, yeah.
How would you feel about pushing your child?
I don't know.
The spotlight.
I think half of it is you're like, oh my God, aren't they so cute?
Yeah.
They're being really funny. Let's put it out there. But also, I think there's you don't know. They're only babies. They're not given consent to that.
Yeah.
And I think there has to be a level of protection or awareness that they might look back on that and go, why did you show my vulnerable moments on TV?
Yes.
I think that's where I wouldn't want. I would be very protective over my kids in that way. And a lot of influencers now are doing that as well. There's a lot of young influencer kids are coming out and saying it was abuse, it was this, it was that. And the thing is when you're making money off the back of your children, and are they getting that money? Do you know, if your child stars, there's protections in place that you get the money and stuff. I think.
But they're not really child stars.
They're not
only
child stars.
They're sort of like an appendage of
Yes,
their mother. You know,
accessories almost.
They're an accessory.
Accessories.
And do you lose, can I just ask, like, do you lose the privilege of then if you try, like a lot of celebrities in Hollywood will say no children, like I don't want my children on thing, and there's paparazzi like outside their house. Do you lose that privilege of privacy then if you
whenever
are
you make the pact?
I
When
think
you make the pact
to an extent.
Yes. I think when it comes to your children, I think a lot of because we looked at this when we made Gutter actually the last show. I think if you're a star, like if you're like a film star, a musician or whatever, and you're not putting your children on social media and you're trying to protect them, I think then there should be a paparazzi
But you can't
like
do
legality,
that.
Listen, I'm dropping my kids off at school.
But
then
of
I
course
think
you
it's
can do
when
that.
your kids are on your reality TV show as well, and
That's
they're being
different.
cast in that, and you're building them up for something. And I think it's just a wee bit dangerous. So I feel, is that the real pure protectionist of me? But I don't know. But if you're going to offer me £1 million more and say, Eileen, there's a reality
you can have my
TV show.
child.
Yes, that might be different.
I think there is a little bit of sort of smoke, like what's the word? Smoke and mirrors, is that the word? Yeah.
Yes.
Where celebrities pretend that they're being hounded when actually they aren't, because you're not allowed to hound children and take pictures of them.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, do you know what Meghan Markle's daughter looks like? No. Because
no idea.
Because you don't, like, I'm trying to think, somebody like Ewan McGregor, do you know what his kids look like? No. Because there is he actually got a law changed, I believe, back in the day.
He did.
So he did, yeah.
He did, yeah.
Got
But even
the law
like your
changed.
own life as well, like you know nothing about Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
You know nothing.
Do you know what his
really
kids look
about,
like?
You know,
No.
Because he's there for the art.
And
Yeah,
also
that's
he's
the
said,
thing.
he's
Yeah.
obviously
No.
said, or when you can write out letters to the press and say, I
me
don't
alone.
consent to any pictures taken of my children and blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
that's fine. But a lot of them don't, and then they're like, oh, don't look at me, look
Was
at me,
that
don't look at me,
Jennifer?
Yes.
look at me. You know, that's
Yeah.
you know,
Exactly.
What's the Afflecks? They had a whole big thing against the press because they were hounding their kids as well.
Yes, and you're not really allowed to do it, so it is. Yeah, it is a bit weird that people say they're hounded whenever they shouldn't be. But then back to Jane, what I wanted to ask you, in particular, Jordan has had a lot of work done, a lot of plastic surgery. Why do people feel such ownership of her? Why do they feel that it's any of her business? I mean, she's paying for it. It's her body. Why does anybody
She
care?
is. I think because we see her so much. I mean, it's in a way you feel as if you know celebrities. You don't know them,
absolutely.
but you feel you do know them. If you saw them in the street, you'd almost be tempted to
Yeah,
wave and
yeah.
say hello. It's a bit like the royals we were discussing
Yes.
the other week.
Yeah.
You feel you know them. You feel because we have been invited into their lives. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
And we really have been
We
invited
really
into
have
their
been
lives.
invited into her life, particularly. I mean, we've seen
gosh.
the work being done. We've seen the IVF. We've seen all the
you? Yes.
different things going on, and therefore we feel we're allowed to have an opinion about it. Also, because maybe underneath we don't care as much as we ought to, because these are celebrities. We talk about celebs as if it's a different breed, as if it's not ordinary human
we feel
beings,
like
if you know what I mean.
They've paid.
There's
they're
an
getting paid
ownership,
for
isn't
that,
there?
So we can't
Yes.
own it a
We
wee bit.
feel
And we
like
tend to
own them.
think that they don't sort of hear us and they don't see
Yeah.
us. Now, I used to work as a celebrity journalist, and I've met Peter and Katie on numerous occasions. And they're very ordinary. Like
Yes.
Peter would be very showbiz. He's like, hello, really nice to meet you. And, the eye contact, and he smells
Yes.
lovely, and he looks like a star. She's very sort of eyes down, a bit slouchy, would be sort of scruffily dressed, hair in a bun, no makeup on,
Right.
quite quiet. Once she warms up, she's a wee bit sort of wary, and then once she warms up, she's literally your best friend. Like literally your best friend, and she
Yes.
wants to like give you things. If you said to her, I really like that jumper, she would take it off and give it to you.
Yes.
She's that kind of a
Yes.
person.
Yes.
Whereas he's a little bit more slick, but they're both tiny, of course, because all celebrities are tiny. But they're not like fascinating. They're not like, and I mean that in a nice way. They're two very
But is it not
ordinary
that they
people.
build a brand? Like she's built a brand, but she always
Yes,
says she's
she
not
has.
the brand. Like she's Kitty Pryce, she's not Jordan.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like, do you remember that in like
Yeah.
Yes,
when
I
she was
do.
I mean,
on
he
the
can
jungle,
sing.
like-
He does have a talent. He is a good
Yeah.
singer. Yeah, he can sing.
Yes, he
He's a sort of standalone talent. Okay, without her, he would be Butlins probably. I mean, I don't mean that horribly. I don't
No.
mean that horribly. But without her,
without that
would he be doing
Yeah,
anything? But
after
would he
Jungle.
be even doing Butlins? Would he? I mean, he
Yes,
was a sort
I do know
of
what you
singer,
mean.
Yeah.
a semi-good-looking singer from the 90s, of whom there are two a penny. Without her, he would kind of be nothing.
But do you think as
Social
well,
media.
like the 90s have so much to answer for when it comes to women and
Oh,
their
it's
bodies?
outrageous.
Like
Yes.
recently,
Page 3 girls.
PhD,
Hello.
like where Jordan, I think,
I used to
started.
write the caption for
Yeah.
page.
Stop
Right, I used to
it.
write the caption for page 3.
Stop it.
So quite often, I worked for the Irish edition. So quite often they would send you over the caption, and you had to Irishize it, right?
Yes.
To make it sound. So you'd bring up, Rebecca, 23, from Brighton, and
Works in marketing.
who was always lovely. Who was always
Yes.
lovely. In fact, no, they didn't work in marketing. They were always dental assistants or like fitness
Yes.
instructors, who were absolutely delightful. And you'd be like, do you have any like Irish relatives? And they'd be like,
Yes.
oh yeah, I think I've got a granny from Cork. You're like, bingo. And you're like,
Golden.
have you ever been to
Yes,
Cork? No,
absolute
I've
gold.
never been there. Doesn't matter. What was her maiden name? And you would try and
Yes.
get some sort of Irishy. That was my
mad.
job.
But tabloids
I
were
do have a
such a
degree,
thing.
Yeah.
But it's not mad. They just have to find like
An Irish
a
sort of
lady
link to-
like, do you know what I mean?
An
Like a
Irish
model
as a-
there.
Yeah.
But people wanted to get there. It was funny. Did you see in the Princess Diaries, which is Jordan's daughter, they were asking Jordan, I think, would you want to do topless modelling? And she went, no, it's not really something people like to do these days, is it? And she's quite right. People don't. Like, I mean, the thought of getting your boobs out and for a national newspaper would be like, and they didn't even get paid that much. They got paid like, I think they got paid like £60 or something for
No.
it. Oh yeah, it was only
Incredible.
because that launched you. Like if you had your
Yes.
breasts out on page 3, you
Samantha
were
Fox.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But
remember.
For
not,
example,
nowadays, the
yes.
girls are more savvy. They monetize that on OnlyFans,
Yeah.
which is a lot more financially lucrative. But back
it's
then,
still
that was a thing. That was a
misogynistic.
thing that people, if you wanted to make
want
it
to
big.
launch a career.
Yes,
Get
that's how
your
you did it.
boobs out.
Isn't that awful?
There's almost been like a kind
But
of
like-
wave of feminism with like OnlyFans and kind of
It's sort of gone back on itself.
It's entrepreneurial
Yes.
now. It's with
which is
things-
it's not really better. It's just an entrepreneurial model of pornography, I guess.
Yes. Exactly.
But it's still pornography.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
still prostitution in a way. And I have this fight with people all the time. I'm always brought on radio shows to talk about, isn't OnlyFans great? I'm like, not really. No, it's monetizing prostitution.
Yes.
Well, just it's not really any better. And people say, I'm in total control. And blah. You're like, that's great, but 99
customers in control.
99% of women who are prostitutes are not in control. So this sort of,
Yeah.
they love to push this myth of the happy hooker. They love that. The media loves, it's fine. It's not fine.
Yeah.
It's not fine. It's damaging. Gosh, we got very deep there, girls.
Yes.
We did, yeah.
Right. We will leave it. So good luck, Jordan, if you're watching this. We think you're great.
We think you're
We
class.
do,
We
yes.
love you,
Keep
Queen.
going. Keep going.
Keeping an Eye on It podcast from Local Women magazine is brought to you by Cathedral Eye Clinic, Northern Ireland's leading eye specialist.
Don't just picture a new look. Step right into it at Glen Hill, Stockman's Way. Explore Belfast's biggest media wall displays with bespoke designs from Mivonic and Alir, plus stunning multi-fuel stoves and fireplaces. Find your modern way of living only at Glen Hill, Stockman's Way, Belfast.
Transform your home with style and grace. At Decora Blinds Belfast, we offer elegant, made-to-measure blinds, blending beauty with functionality. From vibrant Alumatech aluminium Venetians to stunning shutter blinds, each available in a range of colours and slot widths. Wood or PVC Venetians, you'll hardly know the difference. Add tapes for that extra touch of luxury. Discover timeless design. Discover Decora Blinds Belfast.
Looking to upgrade your bathroom? At M1 Bathrooms Belfast, we've got everything under one roof, from stylish bathroom suites to easy-to-fit PVC panels in marble, stone, tile, and even 3D metallic effects. Full bathroom renovations completed in just 1 week. Visit our 4,000 square foot showroom off Kennedy Way behind Asda and discover top quality products to suit every style and every budget. That's M1 Bathrooms, your one-stop bathroom shop in Belfast. Call 02890 300 555. Open 6 days a week. M1 Bathrooms. Customer service from start to finish.
Keeping an Eye on It podcast from Local Women magazine is brought to you by Cathedral Eye Clinic, Northern Ireland's leading eye specialist.
And finally, Jane, should we ban children from public places? I am asking you this for a very... you're a massive tennis fan. And recently, our very own Emma Raducanu, do you like how I said that? I got the name, I was thinking. Emma Raducanu chucked a child out of centre court. Was she right?
I think maybe she had a point if it was affecting her concentration. Yes, I do. I mean, tennis it's a bit like theatre. It's a performance. And when you go to theatre, you want to hear and see the person on stage.
Yes.
Not the person chomping the toffees right in front of you.
Is that me?
Or the person... no, it isn't. Or the person
clicking on their phone.
person with their phone that's actually going in the middle of a performance.
Yeah.
I was at Mother of All the Beings at the Grand Opera House the other night.
This is part of the show where we shame people.
The phone went in the middle of the stalls quite loudly, and it went on going. And it did throw the actress for a moment. Of
course it did, as it's going diddly, diddly, diddly.
But she had a wonderful comeback. She said, "It's time to take your pill." And then she went on, you know. But I think it's come to a point where public places are no longer respected. It's as if you can behave how you like, where you like. A bit like binge drinking, binge behaviour, you know, binge toffee eating and binge phone activity.
Yes,
you know, you can't stop it. So whether you're going to the theatre, whether you're going to a prestigious sports event, maybe you think it doesn't matter if you make lots of noise, but actually I think it does.
I think it does too. What do you think, Niamh? It seems you can't go anywhere without tripping over a child or a dog. It's wrong. Robin Elliott, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, Robin Elliott. Robin brings his dog everywhere. I'm surprised the dog's not in here.
You know what? I get the tennis thing like 100%,
Yeah.
and I'd mentioned before about like Wimbledon and stuff. Obviously, the rules don't apply, but there is definitely a noise rule in some capacity.
Did you see? Just as you said that,
There's a noise.
listen. Just as you said that, the sandwich van has arrived, and it goes. I don't know if listeners can hear us. It goes, and this happens during our podcast the whole time. Robin, tell him to be quiet.
Open a window. Open a window and shout out.
Assert yourself. This is. We must have silence.
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A of people who are noisy in public places.
But no, I do get it. I think with something like tennis, not to get into the nitty gritty, but even the ball bounce can sometimes impact where you stand if you're returning a serve and stuff. Like there's things with this. It needs to be
Very savvy with tennis knowledge.
I love Wimbledon.
Jane loves Wimbledon.
I love
tennis experts. Yeah.
tennis. But I think there's definitely rules in place. I know that you have to wear white and all those types of things, and you're not allowed to go to the toilet and all that there. But silence.
You're not allowed to go to the toilet where?
When you're playing a game, there's only a certain amount of times you can
Oh,
actually
yes,
go to the
with
bathroom
the
if you're on the court.
tennis players.
Especially.
Not the audience, the tennis players.
Because that would be no good for my
Yes.
life. That would be no good for me.
Yeah.
Not
Actual tennis
drinking and
With all that binge drinking I'm
What are you
doing,
gonna be doing?
There's a really famous clip. I think Andy Murray kind of gives off to the referee.
Oh, yeah, 'cause he wants-
because he needs to
needs to go and do a wee.
because it was like a 6-hour game.
Yeah.
Because tennis can obviously last for days.
And
This is why I don't.
And there's
This is why I don't like
kids and
tennis.
They're sweating and obviously, but yeah, there's all these rules. But I think with the child crying and you're in super focus mode.
Yeah, no,
it's
I
one of the
think
most like Jane
100%.
said, one of the most prestigious matches
Yes,
in the
it
world.
is.
What do you think, Eileen? Would you bring your kids to Wimbledon Centre
No,
Court?
Absolutely no
Can
way.
I bring my newborn baby to one of your dance shows and let it squeal?
No.
I don't have a newborn baby, by the way.
Yes.
No, I think people really have to be like reasonable. France have just brought in a new bill where they're trying to ban adult-only hotels and stuff and adult-only spaces.
France like children.
France, well, no,
They also like
they do like
They
kids,
also
but
like to slap children because you
It's
see that all the
because-
time in France. Like, no offense to anybody who's
French
French,
kids are
but they're
more,
like, be quiet, Jean, be quiet, Jean Paul. You know?
Yes. They definitely don't have this,
Yeah.
the no,
No.
hidden kids law for sure.
No, they
But-
give the kids a good stout slap around the lugs, like they really
what
do.
they're trying to do is because their birth rate's really dropping, and they're trying to get people to have more kids is make France a more inclusive, child-friendly country. So
But surely if they want people to have
aren't
more
deterred.
kids, they need to have hotels where children aren't
Yes,
there, so
but
people
listen,
could
have
go
kids.
and consciously couple.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So I, as a mother of 2 kids who are 3 and 5 and are absolutely bonkers and brilliant, and I love them.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like adult-free hotels. Kid-free hotels,
Yeah.
like yes, because they're you need your space away from them as well. But also, like when you bring them out for the cafe, whatever, and my kids love going to a cafe because they're all bougie and all. But it's like they're there and they're noisy and they're wrecking the place, and you're really conscious of it. But you're also like in a cafe. I think that's okay because it's a nice regular public space.
What cafe did you go to? What cafe did you go to? So I know to avoid it. What cafe?
I think, like, bringing them into theatres when the show is not for children, I think no, because it's distracting. If you're bringing them to places that are dangerous or are intentionally not made for kids, then I think
What about dogs?
no. Dogs, again,
Same thing, really.
parks.
Much of a certain thing.
I don't know. I feel like I
know.
could be kind of a
But
dog.
I also know that there is what Dancer I know is really amazing. She has this really amazing dog, like a emotional support dog, and the dog has been in nearly every show. Sitting there, and it's the best dog in the world, and everybody loves it.
Yeah.
I think people are.
But
more
do they
affected
love
the
it?
dogs
Do
than
they love
are
it,
the-
Niamh? Do they?
the kids.
You don't need an
Yes,
emotional
no.
support dog. I have
You
Robin
do,
for
I
that.
think
I have
if-
Robin. Robin's my emotional
Robin.
support producer.
Loves a good pet. Loves a good pet.
So
We scrub behind the ears and all
he
that.
loves that. He loves that. Well, girls,
Yeah.
that's us wrapped up.
Thank you so
for
much.
another
Thank you.
podcast.
That was
So,
so funny.
what have we learned today? Well, we've learned that binge drinking is really bad, but kind of fun. We've learned that we need to get a vinyl sticker for above the sofa saying "Live, Laugh, Love,"
Dance when no one's watching.
and dance like no one's
one's
watching.
watching,
We also believe that Katie Price Jordan is a queen and should be left alone.
Leave her alone.
And
Yeah.
we believe that children should be banned from all public spaces. Like,
But not dogs.
No, we don't. But not dogs.
Not dogs.
Thank you so much, girls, for coming on. Thank you very much, Jane, Niamh, And Eileen, you've been wonderful
so
panellists. This has been the Keeping an Eye on It podcast, sponsored by Cathedral Eye Clinic, local woman's very own all-female podcast. We'll see you next week.
Local Women Magazine presents Local Women Podcast, the show for things that matter. Keeping an Eye on It podcast from Local Women Magazine is brought to you by Cathedral Eye Clinic, Northern Ireland's leading eye specialist.